'cause I'm safe in his arms. Even though you're rain.
Listen, click, like, share, tune in. Click, like, share, tune in.
Let there be peace. Now I can
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Click, like, share, because I'm exposing it. Click, like, share. Y'all come in. Come in, come in, come in, come in. Click, like, share. Come on in. Feel free to chime in. Click, like, share. Come on in, because we're going to talk about it this morning. Click, like, share. Come on in. We're going to talk about it this morning. So, just did my morning drop-offs. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. I had to pull my car over just because I woke up 350 degrees hot. And when I tell you I'm 350 degrees hot, I mean that. For the last few days, I've been watching the Twitter, Facebook, the media talk about these patriots and these Nazis marching through the streets. I've been watching all these elected officials say how they were totally unaware. The Boston Police Department said they were totally caught off guard by these white supremacists walking in the streets, who did a full live protest with flags and poles and spears walking through downtown Boston. BPD was caught off guard. All y'all's lovely black and of color elected officials got on Beyonce's internet and Blue Ivy's Wi-Fi expressing all this condemnation for the Nazis and the white supremacists. Well, guess what? They all lying. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. From the U.S. attorney to the mayor to your city councilors, who, not the new city councilors, but the ones who have been there, they're all lying. Do you understand me? They're lying. 2017, I did my first protest. 2017, 45,000 people marched. 2017, the people who came, the white supremacists that came to the city of Boston, were the same white supremacists that were in Charlottesville, Virginia at the time and had killed that young lady, that white girl, hit her with a car and killed her because she was in the streets screaming Black Lives Matter. They killed her because she was an ally. She was an accomplice to this work. They then came to Boston. I started making calls immediately. Hey, white supremacists is coming to Boston. They can't come to our city. What are we going to do about it? I couldn't get not one Boston activist to support me. I called Didi. Didi called 24 activists from across this country. Then everybody wanted to talk to me. I had to go have a meeting. They asked me to have a meeting with the Boston Police Department. The Boston Police Department had gave the white supremacists a permit. They wanted us to draw a permit for us to do the protest. I said I'm not getting a permit because that's a parade and I'm not parading through the streets. This is a protest. I'm also not getting a permit because what I won't allow y'all to do is to say, see, we practice from a place of equality. We gave both sides a permit. You wasn't going to use me for your press release. So we said, no, we don't want the permit because by law, if you have 100 or more people, you don't need a permit. So fast forward. They wanted us to come to a meeting. We had to, this is mandatory, commit to nonviolence. We had to inform everyone visiting that if you had signs, they could not be on sticks or poles unless you would be arrested. If you had a bag, it had to be clear and see-through because you were going to be subject to be searched. They made us commit to nonviolent de-escalation trainings and they made us commit to nonviolence. They asked us what our parade route was. There was so much criteria they wanted us to follow. That was in 2017. That is when I got on the radar of the Joint Terrorism Task Force of the FBI. My first protest ever. I became on their radar. Every protest I did after that, the Joint Terrorism Task Force was on my phone. The FBI was on my phone. Every protest I ever did, they assumed it was mine, even if it wasn't. I never forget there was another group doing a protest, and I was in New York at the time, and they called my phone talking about, Monica, do you know anything about what's going on? I said, I told y'all I can't fucking talk to y'all. Stop calling my fucking phone. That's not my protest, and hung up. I don't have shit to give you. I've been on the radar of the FBI since 2017. For any elected official in this city to say they don't know is a lie. I won't say any names, but one elected official in particular, who at the time was the top cop who I campaigned for, I messaged this elected official, hey, the Joint Terrorism Task Force has been questioning friends of mine about me and has been calling my phone, and I'm trying to figure out why. This is problematic. I am a black activist. This is at a time when the media was portraying that Black Lives Matter was violent. We were burning things down. Every protest was so we could tear up shit, right? Anything I've ever done, I've documented, and I thank God for that. But let's dig a little deeper. After 2017, I got on their radar. This white supremacist news blog, and I won't say the name, but he began to write about me. And at first it was an article here, an article there, an article here, an article there. Do you know last night, one of my team members from the Fight for Monica team put together a spreadsheet of every time that this man has written about me, blogged about me, or did a whole show about me. 244 fucking times. 25 hours of YouTube footage. When, in 2021, matter of fact, no, since here's 9 months, yes, in 2021, I went to, I got a call that DCF was called on me. At this point, I have been ambushed by white supremacists. I've been trolled. I've been stalked. So I went to the court. I have sent a group text message with every elected official in this city, from the mayor to every city councilor, Kim Janey, Michelle Wu, Lydia Edwards, Rachel Rollins, Maura Haley. I put them all in a group text message. I said that I got a phone call from an activist saying that this man plans to ambush my block party, which is an event for kids. I am 9 months pregnant. I am reaching out to y'all again for help, because if he runs up on me and I'm 9 months pregnant, I'm going to defend myself. And I don't want anybody coming to try to talk to me after I defend myself because I'm asking for help. You know what happened? Crickets. 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 I got crickets. One of the elected officials responded, please contact my office. Go to the courts immediately and get a harassment order. I met with your office, your cyber crimes unit. I met with your office, and they told me it wasn't shit they could do for me. I met with both the DA and the AG's office, and I was told it wasn't nothing. Do you know how I am going to drop photos of spreadsheets? I sent them an email that had so many attachments of the death threats that I had to send duplicate emails. It is gaslighting as fuck for these black and of color elected officials, and even the clear ones, but I don't have no expectations for them. But it is gaslighting as fuck to act like y'all don't know about the white supremacists that have been coming through the city of Boston, that have been on people's backs, that are marching through downtown Crossing like y'all didn't know. I have spreadsheets of every attack. 244 times this man has written about me. 25 hours of YouTube footage, and I was told I couldn't get a harassment order. Meanwhile, Liz Miranda gets a harassment order after a couple of Facebook interactions, and is supported by all the black elected officials, but I wasn't respectable enough to be protected. That's gaslighting as fuck. Y'all get no passes. I'm not going to be quiet, Fed case or not. Y'all don't give a shit about the white supremacists or those patriots and neo-Nazis walking through Boston. Them That white supremacist news blog and the police is one and the same. The reason why the police were late to respond is because they had to go home and change clothes. When I tried to file a police report for a harassment order after they ambushed my grand opening, ambushed the press conference, and I was ambushed at a standout outside of the Boston Police Department, I tried to file a harassment order because I have a fear of police and I don't like to talk to them, and I didn't want to do it. I was advised by my then mentor to file a report in order to get a harassment order. So I said, instead of going in the station, I called a friend who called a friend who put me on the phone with a black police officer who knew who I was and understood the dynamics. He said, we're going to help you file this report. You don't have to walk into the police station. We're going to do it over the phone. Everything I'm saying, I have documentation. I said, okay, cool. We do it over the phone. I tell them everything. I tell them the instances. I show them everything. The spreadsheet of every attack. I have it categorized by year. Every attack, every ambush. I have video footage. Everything that has ever happened to me, I have fucking receipts. They said, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to process it. You're going to hear from 2 officers from our civil rights division of the police department. I said, okay. Not even 48 hours later, my police report made it to the white supremacist news blog. He put up a screenshot. It looked like a police officer allowed him to take a picture of my report. He wrote an article about me, the black police officer, the black police officer's wife, and he dragged us for filth. BPD let Monica Cannon Grant do a police report over the phone, but wouldn't let me file a police report, and he claimed to be peacefully protesting. He wasn't peacefully protesting. I was pregnant and I got ambushed. No protection. Not the black men in this city, not elected officials I reached out to before, not the police department. So if I can't call the police, who are supposed to serve and protect, to get a harassment order and be protected from white supremacy, we supposed to believe y'all? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. He wrote a whole article about the black police officer who really had nothing to do with it. He just helped me file the report in order to get the harassment order. I went to that courthouse downtown on New Chardon Street after I was told to by y'all's black woman elected official to go file a harassment order. I pulled up spreadsheets. I had screenshots. She said the courts haven't caught up with the social media world, and unless they're threatening to kill you, there's nothing we could do for a harassment order. Now, the definition of harassment is if somebody is constantly stalking, trolling. It could be verbal, it could be physical, the whole 9. I have more than enough. I have more than enough now. And what makes it dangerous is not so much it's him writing about. What makes it dangerous about him writing about me is that he weaponizes his following. So once he writes about me, he tells his followers to troll me. If y'all look all up and down my timeline and y'all see laughing emojis on posts that ain't laughable, it's white supremacists trolling me. They send me messages calling me all kind of fat, black, ape, monkey bitches, and nobody says anything. None of these elected officials are committed to doing anything about the white supremacists walking through Boston. None of them are clueless. None of them are new. And this whole notion that the FBI can't do nothing because it happened in Malden, like Malden isn't a part of Massachusetts, is straight BS. It's straight BS. They don't care. I told them back in 2017. I told them in 2018 when we did that hands off our pride counter protest to straight pride. It was the same white supremacists that went to Washington, D.C. and ambushed the Capitol. I've been in these streets telling y'all for years. I done went to so many meetings, it's disrespectful, and I've been ignored. So then the way you silence me is hit me with a Fed case so I can be ineffective, because ain't nobody else confronting these white supremacists in Boston. Ain't nobody out in these streets. They have grown since I protested in 2020. They've developed 12 new white supremacist organizations in the city of Boston. Massachusetts ranks number 4 for white supremacist propaganda in the country. In the country. They rank 4 in the country. Please don't be gaslit. This is the one live video that I'm going to leave up because today is the day. I will not be gaslit. 244 times this man has written about me. 25 hours of YouTube videos. Death threats insurmountable. They troll my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter. They sit outside my house. I've gotten letters to my house of death threats. And them harassing me through the mail, the postal system. How ironic that one of my charges is mail fraud because I received a piece of mail. But it's not mail fraud for the white supremacists to mail a letter to my house and threaten me and my family where my 6 kids reside. Let me be clear. Voting for people just because they're black, we cannot continue to do. I'm so sorry. I get it. I do. And I was one of those peoples. I supported a whole top cop because she was black. It did absolutely nothing for me. There's not nothing that I'm telling you that I don't have receipts and screenshots for. I can name for you every person I met with in both the DA, the AG's office from back in 2019, begging and pleading around the death threats and harassment. They do not care. They only care when it's black people protesting. When I organize a protest, every elected official want to call my phone. Joint Terrorism Task Force? Oh, they find my number. Police don't never need you to give them a number. I've been on the radar of the FBI since 2017, and it's been no secret. I just ain't said nothing because for what? Who the fuck's gonna protect me? That's the biggest gang in the country. Who's gonna protect me? Well, Monica, why are you saying something now? Because I'll be damned if they kill me and I go silently. I'll be damned if they kill me and I go silently in front of a bunch of motherfuckers who have the opportunity to be like, well, she didn't say nothing and we didn't know. No, I'm telling you. And I'm going to put up posts. I'm going to show you everything. Enough is enough. I'm exposing everybody. I'm showing every entry. I'm showing emails. I'm showing it all. Enough is enough. I'm exposing all of it. If you're going to kill me, you're going to kill me as I stand on the truth. Because it's no way you're telling me that it's okay to stalk her. They sit outside my house. When the police arrested me back in March, they kicked my door. You don't know what it feels like to have AK-47s pulled out on you and your kids, and there's not no firearm in the house for a white collar crime. They don't treat white folks like this who owe the government millions in offshore accounts and hedge fund accounts. Y'all are not paying attention. Somebody said to me, what makes the racism bad in the North and different from the South is in the South they kill you. In the North they'll force you to kill yourself. I've tried to commit suicide on 3 separate occasions just out of frustration, but let me tell you this, what keeps me going is my kids. If you hear that I killed myself, it's a lie. I've had every opportunity to do it and I still won't because the God I serve protects me. But when I tell you none of these elected officials give a damn, I don't care if they black. I was popping at the height of the movement. 2020, everybody wanted a photo. Come into my building. Oh, let's partner on this effort. Taking photos from Julia Mejia to Ayanna Pressley. Every last one of them. Monica, let's take this photo. I never forget when Tanya Anderson was running and she asked if I would endorse her publicly. And I told her no, out of protection of her. Who I am in this community, you don't need the kind of hatred that I receive on a daily basis. I'm protecting you. And she was upset. Everybody wanted my life so bad, but you couldn't go through half of the shit I went through. I got spreadsheets of death threats. Do you know what that does to somebody's mental? And y'all want me to be silent. I hired people who I had to learn to unlove because they did me so dirty and started testifying before a grand jury. For money. So the Rocket Raccoons want me out of the way for money. And the federal government want me out of the way for power. And none of y'all was paying attention. Y'all thought, oh, feds came and got it. They must be telling the truth. You mean the same federal government that killed Fred Hampton? The same federal government that killed Martin Luther King? The same federal government that killed Malcolm X? The same federal government that got Assata Shakur in Cuba? The same federal government where Angela Davis had to fight her own murder and gun case herself in order to survive. Y'all mean to tell me that federal government got it right with Monica for a white collar crime? It takes strategic effort to put jokes on Facebook and make everybody think that I'm okay every fucking day, knowing damn well that at a drop of a dime, they could kill me. Everybody's getting exposed. Everybody. And I'm not exposing them in a way where it's like, oh, now that I'm in trouble, I'm exposing you. I'm exposing you for remaining silent. Your silence is violent. For you to get on this internet, Beyonce's internet and Blue Ivy's Wi-Fi, and make it seem like y'all care about black communities. I've sat with every last one of you. Most of you have donated. And that's all you ever wanted to do was throw money at a problem and do absolutely nothing. At the height of the movement, y'all was on my back. Even after that. I've been a target. I've been a walking target since 2017. Do you know what it's like do you know the kind of fear it instills in you to have the federal government on your phone because you protested saying Black Lives Matter? You're not protesting saying you're going to hurt anybody. You're not protesting saying you're going to commit a crime. You're simply saying Black Lives Matter, and the federal government is like, oh, we need to stop her. There's not one person in this city. Most of the people who claim to be activists in 2020 got jobs at City Hall, got respectable, and stopped fighting. Because let's keep it above. Passing legislation is cool, but legislation has a trickle-down effect. Meaning, even if we get it passed right now, the people who will benefit from it the most is our children. We really won't benefit from it by the time it gets in place and it has that trickle-down effect. But when you protest and you show up with 55,000 people that are not just clear folks, but people from communities of color saying we're not going to stand for something, they have no choice but to listen. But to sit on this internet and get on Twitter and go, we're going to hold a press conference in front of the police station, no less. And we're going to say that we condemn the white supremacist patriot march that walked through downtown, and we were so caught off guard and unaware, and we're trying to figure out what to do is BS. It's BS. I have text messages, emails, and phone conversations that state otherwise. And I thank God. I thank God for discernment. I thank God for discernment because even then I was documenting stuff, not realizing how important it was going to be now. I thank God for discernment. I thank God. I thank God. Y'all don't even understand. Me going live about all the work that I've done in this community is the very thing that's going to help me win my case. And I'm telling on everybody who sat idle and silent. You knew better and you chose not to do nothing. It's documented in history. We are in a civil rights movement, and what you have not done matters. When they presented that 32-page document of my indictment, I'm going to tell you what they left out. They left out that the same people in that document were calling on me to help a whole city of folks. Boston Neighborhood Trauma Team has never been funded fully enough for them to be able to do everything. So whose van was they using to transport victims to hotels? Who was making sure those families ate in those hotels? Whose houses got shot up or whose family members got killed and they couldn't go home? Who was coordinating with Boston Housing, putting people in emergency apartments? Who had a contract with the Hyatt Hotel and was putting people there without saying nothing to nobody, and I kept it a secret? Putting the rooms in my name when you get shot or stabbed on City of Boston streets in a hotel room. And the reason these hotels were exclusive was because they had kitchens so that we could shop and buy groceries for victims. Who was doing that? Me. Right before the feds ran up, I had just was getting to enter a contract with the city of Boston for housing because I was the only housing resource in this city. And I have documentation. They silenced me on purpose. And if y'all as a community don't see that, I don't know what you're looking at. But what I'm looking at is being gaslit on a million. And all it took was a few suckers and a bunch of scary folks And it was all gone. Just as fast as it came, it was all gone. Now they're talking about, oh, we have summer jobs, but a lot of kids are not applying for it. No, you cannot give summer jobs to gangbangers. Let's keep it a buck. If somebody's trying to kill you, you can't be caught working on a summer job and the ops see you. You can't take public transportation. You can't work a regular job. There's so many stipulations to getting a summer job. If you're not wrapping around that whole person, you're missing it. You're not doing the work for real. It's very superficial and empty. Roka came into the city of Boston. Roka Boston came into the city of Boston. Didn't want to listen to nobody. Hired a bunch of kids and put them on a work crew together. 2 of the kids were ops to each other. And one kid killed the other kid right in front of the whole work crew. You're setting these kids up for failure. So no, nobody's applying to your summer job because your summer job doesn't have housing as a caveat, food equity as a caveat, safety as a caveat. Why would I set myself up? Most of these kids can't take public transportation. Violence in Boston had tinted windows. You had to buzz to get in. I was a work site for young people to work comfortably because could nobody see in and you couldn't get in unless I let you in. Our vehicles tinted. If they needed food, diapers, because a lot of these young men are fathers. I was giving out diapers, meats, groceries, making sure they had a job, teaching them the ins and outs. Even some of these new activists, you know, it's crazy. It's a lot of these new activists who I met with at the height of them getting their little success or whatever. And they were asking me, how did I do it? I literally gave them my whole funding list and a cheat sheet to how I did everything I did, because empowering them was the most important. And do you know, through this process, my team reached out to them and they're like, these older activists just be feeling entitled. Who you learning from, cuz? Being an activist is not just organizing a protest. Organizing a protest means you have to think about the safety of not just the community, but you and your people. I had to make sure I had security for my people. Had to make sure I had medics for my people. Transportation for my people. Y'all are not activists or organizers. Y'all are public speakers. And that's fine. But being an activist means that you got to be willing to sacrifice something. I gave my life. If you ain't willing to give nothing up, you ain't an activist. You're a public speaker, and that's okay. I never forget, I was showing a black man in our community who I used to be cool with, all the death threats. And I was telling him everything I was going through. He's like, Mon, that's crazy. Mon, that's crazy. He got one threat and wanted to go arm up and get 50 cases of bullets. One? They've been threatening to kill me since 2017. It's documented. Not one elected official has done anything about it. From the AG to the DA to the BPD to City Hall. Everything that I'm going through, I've shared publicly. So to lie and say you don't know is gaslighting and disrespectful. And this is why victims hesitate to come forward. This is why when someone is assaulted or essayed, they're scared to come forward because of the way that y'all handle them. I looked at that spreadsheet last night and I cried. There's 244 times I dodged death. Because every time that man writes about me, I get death threats. They sit outside my house. They troll my social media. And all that keeps playing in my mind is, in the South, white supremacists will kill you, but up north, they force you to kill yourself. I refuse to let these motherfuckers kill me. I refuse to let these motherfuckers kill me. You wanted my life so bad, but you couldn't even attempt to live the life that I led. 2017, when I was protesting, walking down Malcolm X Boulevard, I just miscarried. Was still actively bleeding, and my husband goes, are you sure you want to do this protest? And I go, I have to for my people. I've lost 5 babies. I've given my life, my body. My kids don't even have a normal upbringing. I live in a town where a lot of the people are nice, but the truth is I ride past Blue Lives Matter flags and Trump supporter flags every day. I got ambushed in Stop and Shop and had to think twice. Why? Because I got a Fed case. And the last thing I need is for them to violate me. But now you've just given a open door and freeway to white supremacists to attack me. That's what you did. This case is built on bullshit. I sat in that courtroom a couple Fridays ago, and one of the charges was I received $3,000 from Black Lives Matter, and the moment I received the money, I withdrew it from the bank, and they're deeming it fraud because they don't know where it went. And so my lawyer goes, can you tell me where it went? And I go, well, yeah. He's like, so tell me. I go to the block party where I gave away backpacks, and I had to pay a lot of those vendors cash on delivery. In fact, here's the photo of the event, and here's the photo of the person who gave me the money at the event with the backpacks. So then my lawyer says, well, Your Honor, who's testifying to the fraud if she has proof of everything that she did? Crickets. The notion that the federal government can't build a whole case off of hearsay, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, right? Black folks, Rocket Raccoons, who were close to me, started perpetuating a narrative that they heard from another Rocket Raccoon. That Rocket Raccoon has partnered with white supremacists, and so they all jointly kept saying the same story. They mass reported me to the AG's office. They mass reported me to the Secretary of State's office, and the federal government thought, Eureka! Where there's smoke, there must be fire. Let's run up. When they first ran in my house with them fucking guns drawn, and they're like, we got word that you had 35 firearms in the house. Sir, where with 6 kids? Where? Well, what about you spending money on rent? $3,000 on rent. Living in Warren Gardens? Come on, cuz. There's nothing in that 32-page document that I don't have backup for. What y'all should be asking is, what is the bigger picture? What is the bigger picture? What is the total that I've supposedly enriched myself? My lawyer goes, what's the most expensive thing you have? I said, this house. And I'm not even on the loan. The house. I went from the projects to giving my children somewhere to live, and then for them to never be homeless again. I'm still wearing leggings from 3 years ago, sir. There's no Birkin bags. There's no Gucci. There's no none of that. Yesterday, I woke up at 5:53 this morning. A black person decided to troll me on Facebook. I blocked them from all my pages, so they messaged my persona page, Monica Cannon Grit, the professional page, calling me all kind of racist, fat sloppies, talking about my father is a drunk. Isn't your mother or your father a drunk or a crackhead? And the DA has a bunch of cases. The way they were talking is like they were rambling, right? First off, my case is not with the DA, it's with the U.S. attorney. Second off, if they had that much evidence, how do you arrest somebody, hold them for 6 hours, release them? No bail, no nothing. This was a show. They put on a show to kill me in the court of public opinion. Why? Because I was the only one confronting white supremacists in this city. I was the only one holding black elected officials accountable in this city and not letting them give me a city or a state job to silence my voice. I was a problem not just for clear folks, but for everybody, which is why Boston Magazine says she wields political power while never holding political office, because accountability has no color. Because even if you're black and you're screwing over your own community for your own personal gain, you need to be held accountable. I never forget that a local clear adjacent black man, I got publicly dragged for my statements in regards to Boston's Candace Owens, right? Not even 2-3 months ago, she stood at the GOP convention and insinuated that 2 5-year-olds performed sexual acts on each other publicly and said that's what Democrats are teaching our babies. Crickets! 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 If you are black and aligning yourself with white supremacists, you really need to sit down and self-evaluate what's happening. If you're agreeing with white supremacists, maybe you should be checking the facts. Callie Crosby, a reporter for WGBH, black woman. Heavy-set black woman with glasses. Never met this woman a day in my life. Never interviewed me, never called me, never supported me. Wrote a whole article about what happened in my case, about her disappointment and disgust and how she was ready to vomit and she's so sick to her stomach and how it made it bad for all the black folks coming behind me to try to do what I did. Imagine having that level of disgust for something you never supported, contributed to, or even knew me as a person. As a journalist, y'all have a responsibility for the truth. If all y'all are going to do is regurgitate what police officers and the government says, then you're no different than white supremacists. That goes for Callie Crosby. That goes for WGBH. That goes for the Boston Globe. Brian, who's the head editor down at the Globe. Y'all have a whole spotlight series on race, and y'all employ some of the most racist reporters in the city, Shelley Murphy and Angela Estes. Because anytime they're quoting white supremacist blogs as justification for what they're writing, they are white supremacists. It is not by accident that the moment I was arrested, it hit 100 news blogs, 100 news outlets simultaneously, starting with Fox. You know, Fox that doesn't like black folks? Racist Fox, that Fox. If you are a black reporter regurgitating white supremacist tropes, then you're one and the same. You have issues of self-hatred and you need to figure it out. How are you so disgusted on something you don't even know to be true? You wrote a whole article about your feelings and emotions on something you don't know to be true. So essentially you did exactly what the white supremacist news blog has been doing to me since 2017. You contributed to it, Callie Crosby. I'm not leaving no stone untouched. I'm not leaving no rock undone. I finally got to the point where I could actually see the different articles that was written about me without crying and without just hibernating. And some of the disgusting stuff that was said, I got linked to Global Black Lives Matter. The only link is that we believe Black Lives Matter. That's it. Never had any association with the funding for Global Black Lives Matter. None of that. I was scrolling through TikTok and seeing a whole clear woman do a whole piece on how Black Lives Matter was misappropriating funds and use my face in an article that I was in. There's no connection. But let me give y'all just a tidbit of information because I function from a place of when you know better, you do better. Nixon said he could link weed to hippies and link crack cocaine to black folks so that he could drum up a war on drugs. Y'all should watch 13th, right? He said if he could make people believe that marijuana was linked to hippies and crack was linked to black folks, he could convince them that there was a war on drugs that needed to be fought. He said he knew it wasn't true, but he knew how quickly people believe mainstream media. Okay, so if we can link Monica to global BLM and make people think that Black Lives Matter overall across this country is misappropriating funds, if we can convince people that she was enriching herself, but every number they quoted was so low and disrespectful that it doesn't even put a dent in. They literally said I spent $25,000 a year on me while unemployed, while servicing a community that multiple offices get funding for, but did absolutely nothing. $25,000 is not even minimum wage, but it had every black person in the community outraged. $25,000, that is chump change. If you own an organization and you pay bills and you have to pay taxes, then you understand that that's nothing. That was me surviving while doing work that I wasn't being paid for. But black folks are so used to not having anything and function from a scarcity mindset that numbers like 3,000 and 25,000 for the year is a lot of money, and it's not. Because I'm going to tell you, every lawyer I've spoken to says, well, I have clients who have millions in offshore accounts and hedge funds who have stolen from the government, and they get a letter in the mail and a payment plan. See, it's too suspicious to kill me like they did Fred Hampton. So they'll kill you in the court of public opinion, character assassinate you to the point where people don't believe in you anymore, so then they can disrupt the movement. You notice that these white supremacists marched through downtown Boston with flags, with spears on it. But when Black Lives Matter protested, we had to commit to having signs with no sticks. Y'all didn't know nothing about the protest that these white folks been flyering about for months. Y'all was caught off guard. Sunday Divine wrote on Twitter, the reason why the police was late is because they had to go home and change clothes. I need y'all to pay attention. The reason why the police knew about my police report while nobody knew about the police report is because white supremacists and police officers and the government are all one and the same. How you holding a press conference at the police station to talk about how y'all don't condone what happened as if you're clueless? How? To say you're clueless is disingenuous. Because they count on people not having receipts, but I do. Emails, text messages, screenshots, all day. All day. And I'll leave y'all with this. Let's put this into perspective. When they took my phone, when they took all the electronics, because when they came to my house, that's all they took was electronics. They didn't touch nothing else. That's all they took was electronics. They took the electronics. They gave all the electronics back, but kept my phone. They kept my phone all the way up until my last court date that I just had. When my lawyer asked them, why did you keep the phone so long? They said, because we had issues with trying to get information off of one app. What app? Signal. Why would you be trying to get information off of Signal, and Signal has nothing to do with finances, has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with finance? Signal is the app that we use to organize protests. If this case is about money, why are you worried about Signal? Because from a legal standpoint and from a criminal standpoint, the federal government, as well as the police departments across this country, have the capability to scan your phone and make a digital copy duplicate that is identical to everything that's on your phone, and then give you back your phone because they don't need to keep it. Once they have that digital copy, it's one and the same. This is why it's so important to understand how criminal justice works. They don't need your phone to know what you're doing. They just need to get a copy of it and they can give it back to you. They gave back everything except for my phone. You mean the phone that has every elected official in this city? You mean the phone that has every conversation with those elected officials in this city? You mean the phone that we use to organize? You mean the phone that has all of the backup for every ounce of money I spent, including text messages of people's rent that I paid, including receipts, including screenshots of bank checks of me paying people, because I got in the mindset of paying people and bank checks so that I would have a paper trail? You mean the phone that has all the digital copies of the documents I made people sign while I was giving out lump sums of money? You mean that phone? Yes, that phone. Understand? I'm no fool. So many people was like, oh my God, I can't believe she ruined her life by doing this. Callie Crosby, that article, that just really took me for a loop. But she's a respectable Negro, so I wouldn't expect nothing less. A lot of the respectable Negroes stopped talking to me when all of this shit happened because, oh my God, they were so astonished and bewildered and just taken aback. They were so taken aback. I'm about to be taken aback too, because I'm about to start dropping all of these text messages and emails, because I'm going to be taken aback. Let's be taken aback together. Then we can all figure out what the hell is going on, because I need answers. I need answers. What white supremacists are y'all protecting the community from? What white supremacists do y'all condemn? It can't be the ones that was marching through Boston the other day, because y'all knew about those since 2017. So which ones are we talking about? Is it a selected group that I don't know about? Is it different ones? Because New England has 12 new organizations, mainly Boston. They put up a whole flyer saying they were hunting blacks downtown. And I posted it. And no, they were like, blacks on dirt bikes. Who's that? Black men. Nothing from the Rocket Raccoons. Nothing from the black woman who told me I need to get out the way because I'm getting all of the money and they not getting nothing from them. Protesting don't work. But when we was protesting and we was confronting white supremacy and we was passing legislation and moving stuff, everything that we worked on in 2020, they have managed to dismantle in 2022. All the laws we advocated for, they've managed to undo. All the work that was doing during the era of George Floyd and all of the black people and Breonna Taylor, the officer who shot Breonna Taylor just got a new job on a new police department. They have managed to undo all the work that black activists across this country have done. They would have, let me tell you, when we marched in 2017, and we had 45,000 people to their 50. Petrified. You should have seen the police escorting them out of there because they thought they were surrounded. It was 50 of them and 45,000 of us. The other day, they marched through downtown comfortably. They had drums and shit, American flags, the American flags that are on those spears that they do during patriot parades. Yes, they're patriots. Neo-Nazis walked through downtown Boston and wasn't confronted by the Boston Police Department for having sharp objects? Huh? They weren't asked to have clear bags. They had on face masks. Y'all just beat the hell out of my son and his friends the other day because his friend had on a ski mask. But they walked through with ski masks on, khaki pants and black shirts. That is the new white supremacist outfit. And they did it comfortably. I digress. Today's the day. I'm with the shits. No longer the silence. I'm not going to jeopardize my case, but I will talk about all of the hatred, harassment, and trolling and death threats that I receive. I will be sharing them spreadsheets. I will be sharing who I reached out to who did not respond, who has selective outrage. All of a sudden, I'm exposing it all. I'm dropping receipts today. Today is the motherfucking day that receipts get dropped. Because enough. Stop playing in my face. So many people have been protected by my silence, and for a long time I was like, it's not worth it, right? Because a lot of people would be like, oh, a hit dog will holler, just be quiet, let the Lord fight your battles. No. God said put on my whole armor, so I'm gonna put on my breastplate of righteousness and emails. Okay? I'm gonna have my sword of text messages. Okay? I'm gonna have all the things. Because what we're not going to do is sit here and lie and gaslight to a whole community of black folks who you haven't even informed them the level of dangers that they're in, because a lot of these people work right beside them and they'll never know it. White supremacy up here is so dangerous because it's the people who you will least suspect. Last night I got trolled by a man who is a firefighter on the Needham Police Department, and he in my inbox and he all over my page dropping laughing emojis. These are the people who are supposed to protect and serve and take care of us. Now, the crazy thing is I ain't never had beef with the fire department. Usually it's the police. But white supremacy supersedes it all. And let me tell you something. I see so many accomplices, allies, whatever y'all calling yourselves these days, put up that Ukraine flag, and we have to help the people of Ukraine. The only reason people were focused on Ukraine is because it was European folks. Nobody wanted to talk about the black folks, and a lot of them are still being held hostage and not helped and died of hunger and experience racism even in the midst of war. Racism and white supremacy they supersede war. You could be in the middle of war and they still treat you like trash. Your respectability is not going to save you. And like I keep saying, for all of y'all who feel like if I just work hard enough, they called me. Did they pick you yet? Because the truth of the matter is they're only going to hold on to you as long as they need you, and then they'll kill you last. You'll be the last one, but you're still going to die. Because anytime you align yourself with white supremacists and those who call your women, black women, monkeys, apes, and the N-word. This white supremacist news blog did all of that on a live news blog on YouTube with a black man from our community talking about me, and he sat there and let it happen. Bruh, you used to be a part of the Black Panthers. I'm confused. Is this the new handbook? That same black man who's been on my back and partnered with white supremacists for a number of years, when I had the opportunity to hang him at the height of the movement, when anytime I would message, email, or talk to anybody, they would usually oblige to my acts. I said, please don't fire him. We are still in the middle of a pandemic and he is a black man. Because my values wouldn't allow me to be a coon. Because my values recognize that even though you are trash, your life still matters. That same black man sat on a live video and said my life had no value. That he called DCF on me, he would do it again. And he did. 9 months pregnant, he called DCF. Tried to get my kids removed, but didn't have no intentions on raising them. Craziest thing is at the time I only had one minor child. Black woman messaged me yesterday morning talking about, You're going to jail and the state's taking your kids. How? They're 23, 20, 19. You talk about the 3-year-old and a 9-month-old. Oh no, their siblings are grown, good grown. My kids are very well protected. But these are the type of messages I get on a daily basis, and I don't say nothing to nobody. I just chuck it up. I screenshot who said it, and chuck it up. I'm tired of being quiet during the attack. I'm tired of the belief that if you be silent and just don't say anything, God will fight your battles. No. God said faith without works is dead. So I have all the faith in the world that I'm about to expose everybody who's been in my inbox with the shits. So many people didn't want to talk to me, had nothing to say to me, and distanced themselves from me, who are now doubling back and spinning the block. What you want to talk for? Because the truth of the matter is that even if you didn't want to discuss my case out of fear of retribution from the federal government, you know, the one that killed Fred Hampton, the least, at the bare minimum, it could have been a call of, hey, are you and the kids okay? And that didn't come through. So I'm not interested in spinning the block with nobody. Because the moment that you made the decision that it was fuck me, it was definitely fuck you. They killed something in me that I don't know if I'll ever give back. The heart to get out my bed and still help. People are still reaching out, asking me for help with rent. People are still asking me to protest. People are still asking me to show up. I literally got asked to be a part of a standout for somebody. It's like, y'all will go protest the motherfucker across the country, but will ignore the black woman right in front of you. Your selective outrage is screaming. That's the difference. I protested what was happening globally and locally. Like that Cape Verdean kid that the police officer hit with his car while he was drunk driving and put that boy in a coma. Who was outside of BPD protesting the Boston Police Department? Me? Someone reached out to me and said they were being attacked by the white supremacist news blog who has written 244 stories about me and asking me, do I have any advice? Chin up, chest out. Because when I was going through it, people sat by and laughed and shared the article. Chin up, chest out. It's all fun and games until what is happening to me happens to you. It's this quote, and I know I'm gonna get it wrong, but it was like, they came for the Jews and I said nothing. They came for the Muslims and I said nothing. So then by the time they came for me, there was nobody to stand for me. That's the problem. I've put my body on the line for the LGBTQIA+. I put my body on the line for black trans women. I put my body on the line for the Jewish community. I put my body on the line for organizations like ACLU and the Lawyers for Civil Rights. Crickets. Ain't nobody saying nothing. I done reached out to the Innocence Project 50 million times. We have a whole government of people who are sitting in jail for crimes that they did not do, that they confessed that they pled guilty to out of fear. How many black people are sitting in jail for crimes they didn't do? And now the Supreme Court has made it so that they don't even have a fighting chance on getting it overturned. But we automatically believe that Monica was guilty? Make it make sense. Your selective outrage, I see it. When I didn't get the calls for support, I felt it. I had somebody say to me, yo, I reached out to so-and-so and gave them information for 2 lawyers for you back when all of this shit happened. Did they ever give it to you? No. Not only did they not give it to me, but they ain't even talking to me. That's where I'm different. Because I'll call you and be like, bitch, I know we ain't talking, but here's these 2 lawyers that so-and-so gave me because, bitch, you got to fight these motherfuckers. I'm built different, and I have to stop expecting me out of people. 9 months pregnant, I'm sitting in Joe Morkley courthouse on helping somebody fight a gun charge. Dilated 3 centimeters, sitting in the damn courthouse. But I also have to keep in the back of my mind, stop expecting you out of people. There's a whole community full of cowards. You can't say you're an activist if you don't understand that this work is thankless. You have to be willing to lose everything. That means the respectable Negroes will back away from you. That means that you may lose your job for saying Black Lives Matter. You literally put your life on the line. You have to make an agreement with what you have chosen and be okay with it. Because then you'll find yourself in a situation where they give you a job and then tell you, oh, no, you can't say that. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, take that post down. Oh, no, don't respond to that. I never forget I had a conversation with Marty Walsh back when I was getting ready to get into doing this work, and I had got the building and I needed help. And initially I was going to go in there and ask for money, but God said, nope, don't set yourself up for failure. So I said to him, you know, I don't want money. I just need access. Can you point me in the direction of where I can tell my story and get support? Because if you give me money, you're going to have to speak out against me. The forethought, the prophecy, the way that God has spoken to me in moments that now make so much sense. I don't want your money because you're going to have to write a whole op-ed speaking out against me. So keep your money, cuz. People be like, can I take your picture? I want to post it. Nah. You're not built for the retribution that comes from taking a picture with me and posting it on your page. You're not built to deal with death threats. You're not built to deal with white supremacy. Couple people I was hanging with. Oh, you don't never share my posts. You don't never post me on your page. You don't never support me. Let me say something to you. The moment I do, are you built for the trolling? No. You're not built for it. The moment I share your business, are you built for them to send 30 negative reviews? Because this is how this white supremacist news blog weaponizes their following. They try to get you to lose your job. They try to get you to lose your business. They troll you. The guy who wrapped the van for Violence in Boston, I never forget, I was so excited. I had just got the van for Violence in Boston. Brand new van. I was able to pay for it in full. I was so excited. I called. I was like, I want to find a black man to do it. I found a black man who took the art off the building and put it on the van. And he wrapped the van. I tagged him and took pictures and posted it. 24 hours later, they found his business page and sent him so many negative reviews and calling him a racist and trolling him, to the point where I had to have my following go and give him a bunch of positive reviews to bring his reviews back up on his business. Stop asking for shit you're not built for, because you're not built for it. You're not built to sit and read messages that say, I'm gonna rape and kill your daughter in front of you. Who send you pictures of your 3-year-old talking about that they're gonna kill you. Even now, as I'm live, laughing emojis from trolling racist white people. Even now while I'm live. You're not built for them to call you everything in the world, from an ape, talk about your weight. You're not built for none of that stuff. Stop asking for shit you're not built for. Oh, Monica's acting funny. Oh, she don't want to help. You ain't never heard that rejection is protection? I'm no longer putting myself on the line for people who don't give a shit if I die today or tomorrow. But stop asking for shit that y'all are not built for. Activism is not a 9-to-5 job, and it's not a sport. It's a way of life. You're constantly working on you to dismantle your internalized shit, and you're constantly standing up and fighting while being attacked by white supremacists, black men, and people from your own community that look like you who have internalized racism and white supremacy. It's a constant fight. And the moment that they figure out that you're not a woman who they can sleep with, a woman who you can be manipulated, or you can't be bought with a job, a position, you become a problem. She won't accept a job. She won't accept a grant large enough for her to be quiet. What can we do to stop her? Then she keep calling us out. She keep dragging us. What can we do to stop her? There was a buildup to this. No, I didn't know they were going to come as hard as they did, but there was definitely a buildup. If I told you that I was clueless, I would be lying. Literal text messages from the JTT of the FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force. Do you know who the Joint Terrorism Task Force focuses on? Terrorism. Like shit that happens in Iraq. Like motherfuckers trying to put shit on planes and all kind of crazy. That's who's on my phone because I'm protesting, screaming Black Lives Matter. Then you got the local black man. Black Lives Matter has a gay agenda. They want to make the whole community gay. Before you open your mouth, before you know someone's sexuality, orientation, before you know how they identify, they are black. The fact that we're still having these discussions means that we have not, yes, Creed from the JTTF is the devil. Absolutely, Shimmy. And everybody walking around clueless like that's not real. It doesn't exist. Nah, it exists, bruh. And they be on your back every move. They show up to your protest. They let you know they're going to be there. That's the other kicker. Think about the federal government calling your phone because you have screamed Black Lives Matter, showing up to a protest, knowing full well that they put guns in the wall to kill Malcolm X. That same government. The same government that aired out Fred Hampton while he laid in bed with his spouse. That government. Yeah. And y'all were like, the feds came. They're telling the truth. Yo, it's just so disheartening. And the respectable Negroes in this community, from reporters on down to regular people who are like, I'm not going to call Monica. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to be associated. She has way too much going on. I never forget when I was trying to look for a lawyer to deal with what I was dealing with on a harassment. And this black woman goes, well, I have a friend, but he's reluctant to help because I was told that you put up a post with a gun in it. And I'm thinking, huh? Mind you, it was a post saying that I have reached out to the powers that be. It was a gun safety training course that I took. I have reached out to the powers that be. If they're not going to protect me while I'm 9 months pregnant being attacked by a local black man that all of y'all are scared of, who works a city job. He sits in City Hall and has been on my back. And this is the other thing. When you say you don't know, you're a liar. He sits in City Hall and has done so much trolling and harassment that's disrespectful. Then sends me an email from his work email saying that I'm such a thought leader in the community. He wants to meet with me. It's like having your rapist email you. Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah. It's like having the person who essayed you send you an email and tell you how beautiful you are. But I digress. You sit and think that none of this stuff is real. You sit and think that it's like, no, it's no way in hell it could be happening until it's happening. And so you begin to move differently out of protection. But what you deem as protection, other people deem as you being guarded and selfish. You couldn't handle half of the shit that I've went through. You couldn't handle it. But it's all getting posted today. Boom, boom. Them spreadsheets, them conversations. You know, me meeting with the cyber crimes unit, all of it's coming out today because I need answers. I figure if I post it publicly, maybe the public can help me demand answers from the powers that be. I literally detailed everything I was going through and attached each death threat, harassment to the emails. Dates, times, locations. I even had a lawyer meet with me when I met with the DA's office. Yeah, sure did. Brought a lawyer with me who had a file folder this thick and was told I couldn't get a harassment order. Now here we are, 2022. This Fed case that was drummed up by a lot of those same white supremacists who publicly on their pages take credit for what is happening to me has made the death threats and harassment that much worse. Still no protection from them same motherfuckers that get on the TV talking about we are committed to fighting white supremacy. If you are on the receiving end of hatred, racism, being attacked by white supremacists, or have information, please reach out to us so that we can help because we want to do something. What the fuck do you want to do that you ain't did from 2017 up until now? What information do you need that you don't have now? I have so much intel. By the time I'm finished with this case, I'm going to get my law degree. By the time I'm finished with drafting up all the response to the discovery, I am going to be Monica Cannon Grant attorney at law. Yeah. Ray Charles can see the white supremacists here. Ray Charles. Yes. Ray Charles. Stevie Wonder, they can all see it. How did you miss it? How? But today is the day that I have nothing to lose but these chains. You've taken everything that I've cared about. So now it's time for me to show the world Now it's time for me to show the world the lies and the hypocrisy. Because you've taken everything I have. You've taken it all. Right? Oh, she's a problem. And you know, so many people, you go live too much. You need to stay off live. You go live too much. Try not to go live. And you know, be more reserved. Going live is how I'm going to win this case. Imagine that. Imagine sitting down with your attorney. He's like, do you have proof that you told the public exactly what you were doing with the money? Even when you were spending it on personal use, you actually said it. And I go, yeah, there's video footage, there's Facebook posts, and it's documented in text message. Imagine a woman getting on the internet talking about, she said I was going to start work this day. Then she said I was going to start work this day. And then you going through the group chats to get all of the information for your lawyer. And you see where it unequivocally says, hey, I know you never gave us a date on starting, but do you think it's going to be anytime soon? The amount of lies, the amount of gaslighting, the amount of lies and the amount of gaslighting that has come from both black folks as well as white supremacists is atrocious. But when I tell you, when it comes to this particular subject of white supremacists, I'm letting it all hang today. The other stuff, I gotta wait until this case is over. Because I don't want it to be no kind of, hey, she's intimidating anybody or anything of the sort. But when it comes to, y'all didn't know about the white supremacists, the amount of hatred and all the death threats that I've received, and the amount of times that I've been written about, oh yeah. They've taken, you're right, they haven't taken everything, but they've taken a whole lot. So many people thought that Violence in Boston, according to white supremacy, was a way for me to enrich myself. First off, who signs up to do community work as a way to enrich themselves? The amount, if I was going to enrich myself, I could have went and got an LLC. Let's just keep it a buck. The amount of work and effort that has to go into doing nonprofit work is astronomical. That's number one. But number two, enrich myself. None of those purchases are foreign to nonprofits. There are nonprofits who buy property. There are nonprofits who go eat. I never forget when Marty Walsh was running for mayor and they released his bill of how many times he went out to lunch. Every meeting is out to lunch. So yesterday, my Facebook memories come up and it has me saying in the post, at Violence in Boston, painting these walls. It shows me painting, it shows the walls, and it says, ordered all the volunteers some food so we can eat as we work. Bruh, when I tell you I said it all out loud, I said it all out loud. Fraud. Like, you sent over 4 pages of Uber Eats transactions that you want me to categorize. Bruh. And the community was like, outrage. Outrage. She made it hard for any black person coming behind her. Oh, how could she? If you find yourself agreeing with white supremacists, you might want to go do some soul searching, go, get some healing, figure out what's going on in the inside. Because it ain't no way in hell that y'all thought I was out here bawling, living in Warren Gardens. It's just no way. Anybody who's ever came to my house, it's just no way y'all thought that. It's no way. There's just no way. And then like unemployment. Oh, you mean the unemployment I got before I started working at Violence in Boston because I didn't get on payroll until October 2020? But I've been in an organization since 2017. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. The unemployment I was already on a payment plan for, but they left out all the rest of the text messages between me and my husband and only put out the one they wanted to convince the public to give the impression of guilt, that they look hella crazy because I've released on Fight for Monica. Go follow those pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Yeah. Where you can see the whole text message, because play somebody else's face, don't play in mine. But who wants to see the truth when the lie is more appeasing, right? It's just wild, yo. And the amount of people who condemned all of it is not by accident. You can't tell a story about a black leader without involving the federal government. I'm pretty sure Martin got condemned, Malcolm got condemned, Assata got condemned, Angela got condemned, Marcus Garvey got condemned. So many people got condemned, and then they died, and y'all love them because white people love quoting MLK the same way they over there gentrifying the fuck out of Tupac's song white women are gentrifying Tupac's song in order to use it for the movement because Roe versus Wade got abolished. And white women didn't hesitate to throw their Gucci boots over that wall of oppression into singing Tupac's lyrics. Keep your head up. Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, darker the flesh, the deeper the roots. We're just going to leave that piece out and just talk about women. Yeah, that part. Y'all don't understand. And then you have those who are like, this is all of our fight. It's not just one. It affects us all. You mean the shit we told y'all back when y'all voted astronomically for Trump? And we told white women, organize your sistren. Organize your sistren. Organize your sistren, because it's coming. And y'all were like, no. And y'all put on y'all little pink hats and went chugging along. Now Roe versus Wade is gone, and we gotta come together. Nah, cuz. Nah. We tired of giving y'all the blueprint and the answers, and y'all still skip over the test. That's literally like taking a test. I say, here's all the answers, and you go, you know what? I'ma just write C for all of these right here. That's what y'all did. And I ain't gonna lie. You know how bad I wanted to organize? But I had to put into perspective for what? Keep putting my body on the line for people who won't protect me? My black life? You know how bad I wanted to get in these streets? They shot that boy 60 times. They shot at him 90 times. Jalen. They shot at a 25-year-old 90 times. Hit him 60. And gonna say, and then cuffed him. Cuffed his dead body. Do you know how bad? Y'all don't understand what it is to be somebody who cares for your people. I wanted to get in the streets and make a statement for what they did, and had to sit idle. And had to sit idle. I wanted to hit the streets so bad. And couldn't. And couldn't. Why? Because not even 3 weeks ago, the Boston police choked up my son and his friends. Right across the street from the police station. My son is 23 years old. That could have been my child that y'all shot. Boston police get away with what they get away with because nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's interrupting their pay. Nobody's holding them accountable. And this notion that, oh, we have a police accountability board. What does that mean for my body? What does that mean when you pull me over and choke me out? What does that mean? I'm still waiting on the camera footage. I did a FOIA request for the camera footage of what y'all did to my child. My child. You did it in Roxbury. Nothing. Crickets. Crickets. For y'all to be demanding, and I'm speaking to the New Democracy Coalition, who was in WGBH, activists are demanding answers from law enforcement. Stop asking Massa why he let his friends attack you, because that's essentially what you're doing. How do you ask the Boston police why they let white supremacists march through the streets when they were escorting them? You're not activists. You're actorists. There's a difference. And I'm sorry. It's time out for playing politics and being nice. We're demanding answers. No, you're not. The answers is right in front of your face and you bobbing and weaving away from them. Like, come on, y'all. Stop playing. Stop playing. They're only going to give you enough, but never enough to be successful. They're pissed off because I managed to figure out how to cuss and still be successful. They couldn't put me in a box, so they tried to put me in a cell. And now they're trying to put me in a pine box with all of the hatred and all of the attacks and all of the gaslighting. Because they figure she's going to crack sooner or later. She's going to crack. Y'all got to stop playing. And stop letting these people who call themselves activists play in your face. All these people who claim to care about the community, and then when you ask them what they've done, crickets. Or they gaslight you. They do something good over here, and meanwhile they sit in their spare time and attack people that look like them. And y'all, why can't we all come together? Stop asking us to unify with abusers. Stop asking us to unify with people who mean us no good. I get why Harriet would have shot you. I get it. I get it. I get it. There's a bunch of y'all that Harriet just would have boom. I can't run the risk of you running and telling. And I can't run the risk of you disrupting this movement of me freeing my people. So I'm going to off your head and keep it pushing. I get why. A lot of y'all, Harriet would have shot. I'm just keeping it a buck. Harriet would have shot you. And it's okay. Like, y'all are your ancestors was the ones who told on slaves. Yeah. And mainly because the notion of liberation, the notion of freedom is so foreign to you. You don't even know what it looks like. You've been indoctrinated into a system that has you believing that if you play by the rules and you do the right thing and you get all of these degrees and educated gang symbols at the end of your name, that you're going to succeed. Because that's what they've convinced you that will happen. It's, you could have all the education, all the degrees, all the fancy letters behind your name and still get racially profiled. Y'all remember that black professor who the police ran up on him while he was going to his own house from Harvard? The educated gang symbols don't save you. Your pencil skirt and cardigan and your fancy title doesn't save you. Because ask every one of these black women elected officials the kind of messages that they get from white supremacists. Ask them. Especially Ayanna Pressley. Ask them. So you think that it can happen to you, but it can't happen to nobody else? So you sit on your hands? Pay attention to the fact that they choose the safe thing to advocate for, because if they truly advocate for the thing that we need them to advocate for, change would be made. Pay attention. So, I'm going to let y'all go. But today's the day, so stay tuned. Go follow Fight for Monica on all the platforms. But today is the day that I show y'all what it looks like to be a black activist in the city of Boston. No more silence from me. I hope y'all enjoyed this live, but I had to get this shit off my chest. And I will be posting the spreadsheet full of everything I've been on the receiving end of since 2017. Y'all have a good day. Peace.